products. Essentially what you're going to do is use the liquid wood product first to stabilize and harden any areas of spongy, soft, or rotted wood. And then the wood epoxy gets mixed up, and that's used to fill in and rebuild any missing sections of wood. Now, I've already got the liquid wood mixed up, but there's really no secret or trick to it. You just mix equal portions of part A and part B together. You just want to be relatively close to 50-50 on the mix. And then this is going to get stirred up until part A and part B are completely integrated with one another. You want to make sure that you're totally mixing this up and you're not stopping too soon. And again, a good rule of thumb here is mix it up for a full minute. You know, don't get lazy on this step, because if you don't completely incorporate A and B together, you're going to end up with a soft resin at the end, or something that doesn't fully cure properly. You let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes before you actually apply it to any of the rotted wood. That 5 minutes is an induction period where part A and part B start activating. That chemical process begins, and it won't harden properly. Again, you're going to get a tacky residue on the surface if you don't allow for that little bit of an induction period. Now, the more you mix and the warmer it is, the less of an induction period you need. But anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes is usually good for letting that product sit. So you're going to have about 45 minutes to work with this before it starts getting thick and sticky and gummy. Brush this on to the porous, rotted areas and let it work its way down into those soft wood fibers. You know, you want to make sure that you're saturating this rotted area. So you're not just doing one quick coat and then calling it quits. You want to brush it on, let it soak in for a few minutes, and then brush on a little bit more. What you're looking for is this gloss and this shine, which tells you that the liquid wood isn't really working its way down into the wood fibers anymore. You don't have to wait for that liquid wood to dry. In fact, you don't want to wait for that liquid wood to dry. You want to mix up your wood epoxy and apply it right over the top of that wet, sticky liquid wood. Now, an ideal time to do it is about a half hour or 45 minutes after you've applied the liquid wood. And again, you don't have to be exact, you just want to be about equal. So I always tell people just to knead it together like bread dough until it's all uniform. Now you want to make sure too that you don't stop mixing the wood epoxy too soon. You want to make sure this is completely a uniform color. It'll start to stick to your gloves a little bit. It's all uniform, it's all sticky, it's nice and soft. There's no induction period with this. Once you're at a uniform color, you can go ahead and apply that to the damaged or missing section of wood. And I like to just do it by hand. Some people use a putty knife and kind of press it or smooth it into place. I like to do it by hand. It's real easy to control. And again, normally I would have waited about a half hour, 45 minutes for this liquid wood to get sticky, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to be a little bit wetter and you see it's kind of bumpy and ugly, right? So that's where having our Abasolve or having some rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol. You can also use xylene or toluene or like a mild mineral spirits. The only thing you don't want to use as a solvent in this case is like acetone. So normally I would open up that can of Abasolve, dip my putty knife into it and come back and kind of spread that smooth, or just dip my fingers into it. Here I have a little bit of water. I don't recommend using water on a normal case, but I don't want to smoke you guys out with a nasty smell, so I just kind of show you the concept there. You just dip your hand in that solvent. This is rubbing alcohol for our purposes here. And you can kind of blend that in. You see it kind of create a seamless transition to that old repair, and then also smooth out that new repair so that I'm not going to have to come back and do a whole lot of sanding afterwards. So with the wood epoxy, I generally have about 20 to 30 minutes of working time with it after it's mixed up. That's when you're going to want to do all this smoothing and spreading. Trying to push just a dry putty down into those splits or cracks is kind of hard. So what you can do here with the wood epoxy is take a little bit of your mixed up liquid wood and drizzle that on there and work that into the wood epoxy to create kind of a slurry or a paste, or almost like a pancake batter. Now you still haven't mixed any solvent or water into it, so it's still going to be completely shrink free. but now you've got a spreadable paste or a slurry that you can use to fill in those checks and cracks. This was just a little bit of the brown pigment and a little bit of the yellow pigment mixed into it. And so if I was going to be staining, that filler would look a lot better underneath the stain than just the plain white beige filler. So let's say I wanted that texture, that grain on the surface of that piece. What I would do is I'd take a piece like this, line that with a sheet of plastic, and then you can basically use this as a stamp and basically stamp it right on top. So it'll dust up pretty easy. And that's a pretty fine grit on it.
Yeah.
We got pictures and stuff on our website and on our Facebook page. The technical data is all there on the wood epoxy and liquid wood as well.